Pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for talking to News Talk Live
You're
tonight. And why did you get involved in this campaign?
Well, I have a personal involvement. My father-in-law was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he received treatment, and then happily now he's got the all clear. But it was a bit of a shock when a family member gets diagnosed with a serious condition. The more I read about it, I realised that actually we're sort of lagging behind Europe in terms of all kinds of things, funding, awareness, research, survival rates. And so I felt, because I had a personal involvement and I was actually so sort of shocked by the numbers, I wanted to get involved.
And you're doing a fantastic job because you've got this great ad campaign where you're playing a football manager.
Yes.
And it's Men United. Do you think sport's the best medium to get through to blokes? Because men are quite notorious when it comes to health issues, aren't they? Ignoring them.
That's right, yes. And, there's people from the world of sports involved in this. We've got some people from the entertainment world. We've got people like, there's Ray Winston, we've got Will Carling, Damien Lewis, and Michael Parkinson.
Playing a football manager.
I'm being a manager. I mean, I've never been a manager of anything, so I'm quite delighted about that. and the thing I do about the sporting idea of it is to sort of, I think it's, it's using a kind of light-hearted metaphor really for something what is a very serious subject. So it's a way of getting blokes to sort of engage in the subject, to talk about it, start the conversation, and in areas where a lot of blokes will meet and socialise, like going to a football match or going to a comedy gig. And as you say, blokes are not brilliant at talking about these things, and not really.
Why is that, do you think?
Well, I don't know. I think it's probably a lot of things. I think there's a kind of British reserve about talking about disease and cancer generally, and I think that men perhaps have been conditioned. There's a kind of social conditioning to not admit any kind of weakness. There's some sort of stigma about it, and maybe there's a bit of an embarrassment factor, particularly with prostate cancer.
Because a lot of men don't even know what their prostate is, right?
Well, that's true, yeah. And hopefully, what this campaign will do is to get people talking about it, get them to find out about it. And I think that what I've realised from this is that. You shouldn't be passive in this. Men shouldn't just sort of accept, well, I might get it, might not. I might get a letter from the NHS, I might get the GP, might send me for a test. You have to take responsibility for that and be engaged in looking after your own health.
And it's a difficult one to get right, isn't it? Because there aren't many symptoms. Or you could have prostate cancer and not know about it, right?
That's
so
right.
If you are a bloke and you're concerned, what should you do? Are there symptoms or signs you should be looking at?
Well, there are, certainly. Yes, there are symptoms. There's, problems with waterworks. If you're up in the night, wanting to use the loo more than usual. If there's any pain, urinating and all that. But that's not typical. Typically men might not know at all. There might be no symptoms, and you have to sort of assess your own risk. Really, I think that's the thing with prostate, because it affects men in their late 40s, typically after the age of 50. That's when you should start thinking about getting yourself checked.
Have you been checked?
Not yet. No, I'm not 50 yet. Don't believe the page of lies, Wikipedia. They said I was 50. I can't. No, I'm not. Give me another year. So you will. Then. Is that your 50th birthday present to you? It is, yes. No, but I will be in the next few months. And I think it's something that that people can talk about. They can talk about it in a light-hearted way, and hopefully this campaign will get everyone sort of engaged a bit more. Yeah.